Friends, my channel name is Indian Epic History. Search this channel name on YouTube, then select playlist option for all videos Ramayana, Mahabharat, Puran from starting. Otherwise, click the channel name or picture below the video, then go to the playlist. This is Buri Critical Mahabharat book section 23, Arjun, Bhim, Nakul Sahadev, Digvijay Parva, chapter 23. Vishnupaina said, Partha had obtained the supreme bow, the two inexhaustible quivers, inexhaustible, the chariot, the flag, and the sabha. He told Yudhishthira, O king, I have the bow, weapons, arrows, valor, alliances, land, fame, and strength, and whatever man desire and find difficult to obtain. O supreme among kings, I think we should act so as to extend our treasury. I wish to make other kings pay us tribute. On an auspicious day, moment, and nakshatra, I will set out to conquer the region protected by Dhanada. On hearing Dhananjaya, Dharmaraja Yudhishthira replied in words that were soft and grave. O bull among the Bharata lineage, go, but only after Brahmanas have uttered benedictions on you. So, what our well wishers may be delighted and our enemies immersed in grief. O Partha, your victory is certain. Your desires will undoubtedly be fulfilled. Having heard this, Partha set out with a large army. He set out on the divine chariot, performer of extraordinary deeds given by Agni. In similar fashion, Bhimsena and the twins, bulls among men, also worshipped Dharmaraja and set out with their armies. The son of the one who vanquished Paka conquered all the regions protected by the Lord of Wealth, Bhimsena the east, Sadeva the south, and Nakula, skilled in the skilled in the use of all weapons, conquered the west. O king, Dharmaraja Yudhishthira remained in Khandaprastha. Janmejaya said, O Brahmana, please tell me in great detail the directions of their conquest, because I never tire of hearing about the great characters of my ancestors. Vishnupaina said, O sons of Pritha conquered the earth at the same time. I will first tell you about Dhananjaya's conquest. With great force, the mighty armed Dhananjaya first conquered the kings of the land of Kuninda. After conquering the Anarthas, Kalkutas, and Kunindas, he placed Sumandala, the conqueror of evil, in charge of the near of his army, O king. Together with him, Sabyasachi, the scourger of enemies, vanquished the land of Shakala and King Prativindya. The king of Shakala was one of the 7 regions, and there was a tumultuous battle between Arjun and the armies of the king of Shakala. Obul among the Bharata lineage, after defeating all of them, the mighty archer attacked Pradyotisa, Bhagdat city. O Lord of the earth, there was a mighty king named Bhagdatta there, and the great soul Pandava fought a great battle with him. Pradyotisa was surrounded by Kiratas, Chinas, and many others warriors who lived along the shores of the ocean. Having continuously fought with Dhananjaya for 8 days and finding him to be still untiring on the field of battle, the king Bhagdatta smilingly said, O mighty armed one, O descendant of the Kuru lineage, O son of the Chastisar of Paka, this blazing valor in battle is appropriate for you, O son. I am a friend of Indra and Indra of the gods and can withstand Shakra in battle, but I cannot withstand you in battle. O Pandava Arjuna, what is it what you want? What can I do for you, O mighty armed one? O son, tell me, I will do what you wish. Arjuna replied, King Yudhishthira, the son of Dharma, is a bull among the Kurus. I wish that he may become the sovereign and other pay him tribute. You are my father's friend and have been affectionate towards me too. Therefore, I cannot command you. Please pay it happily. Bhagdatta said, O son of Kunti, you are to me the way King Yudhishthira is. I will do at all. What else can I do for you? Visumpana said, having thus conquered him, Kunti's son, the mighty armed Dhananjaya, then went towards the north, protected by the Lord of Riches, Kaunteya, bull among men, conquered the inner mountains, the outer mountains, and the upper mountains. Having conquered all the mountains and all the kings who lived there, he brought them under his sway and extracted riches from all of them. O king, having owned the riches and the loyalty of those kings, he marched with them against Brihanta, who lived in Kulata. The earth trembled with the sound of his supreme drums, the clatter of the edges of his chariot wheels, and the roar of his elephants. The young Brihanta come out from his city with a fourfold army to do battle with Pandava. The battle between Brihanta and Dhananjaya was a great one, but Brihanta was unable to withstand Pandava's valor. Realizing that Kaunteya could not be beaten down, the lord of the mountains, whose intelligence was limited, brought him all his riches. O king, having established the kingdom, he set out with Kuluta and swiftly threw Senabindu out of his kingdom. He then subjugated Modapura, Bamadeva, Sudamana, Shushamkula, and the northern Kulutas and their kings. O king, having brought those men under Dharmaraja's rule, Dhananjaya then conquered 5 countries. On arriving in Divasprastha, Senabindu's great capital, the Lord set up a base there with his fourfold army. Surrounded by them, that bull among men marched against King Vishwagashva Paurava, O king. After conquering in battle the brave warriors from the mountain, he used his flag bearing troops to subjugate the city protected by Paurava. After vanquishing Paurava, Pandava defeated the 7 mountain-dwelling dacoit tribes known as Utsa Vasamketa. Then the bull among Kshatriyas defeated the valorous Kshatriyas from Kashmir and Lohita. Using 10 encircling armies, O king, Kaunteya then took on the Trigartas, the Darvas, the Kokanadas, and many other Kshatriyas who attacked him collectively. O descendant of the Kuru lineage then conquered the charming city of Abhishari and defeated in battle Rochamana, who lived in Urasha. The son of the Chastisar of Paka then conquered beautiful Simhapura protected by Chitrayudasura. Then Kiriti, bull among the Pandavas and descendant of the Kuru lineage, conquered the Shushmas and the Cholas with his entire army. The descendant of the Kuru lineage then conquered Balika with supreme valor. They were difficult to defeat. So there was a great battle. Phalguni Pandava, son of the Chastisar of Paka, then took a select force and defeated the Daradas and the Kambojas. The Lord then defeated the bandits who lived towards the northeast and those who live in the forests. Thereafter, the son of the Chastisar of Paka subjugated the Lohas, the superior Kambojas, and the northern Rishikas. The battle in Rishika between the superior Rishikas and Partha was a fearful one. like the battle known as Kamaya, O king. After defeating the Rishikas in the field of battle, he extracted 8 horses and had the color of a parrot's breast. There were some others that had the colors of peacocks, and still others that had both colors. Having thus conquered in battle the Himalaya and Nishkuta mountains, the bull among men arrived at the White Mountains and began to live there. Next, chapter 25, Vaishnampana said, O descendant of the Bharata lineage, after having crossed the White Mountains, the brave one arrived at the land where the Kimpurushas lived. They were protected by Drumaputra. There was a great battle in which many Kshatriyas were slain. The best of the Pandavas won and extracted tribute. The son of the Chestisar Paka used his army and determination to conquer the region known as Hataka, protected by Guhaka. Having won them over with con- uh, conciliation, he set his eyes on the supreme Laka Manasa. He also saw all the places sacred to the rishis. On reaching Manasa, the Lord Pandava conquered the regions around Hataka protected by the Gandharvas. As tribute, he obtained from the city of the Gandharvas supreme horses and were the color of patrigates and speckled, with eyes like those of frogs. Pandava, son of the Chestisara Paka, then arrived at the northern country of Harivarsha and wished to conquer it too. On seeing him, some doorkeepers appeared. They were giant in form, great in valor, and immense in strength. They smilingly told him, O Partha, you are incapable of conquering this city in any way. O Achyuta, if you desire your own welfare, turn back. You already have enough. Any human who enters this city must certainly die. O valorous one, we are pleased with you. Your conquests are already many, O Arjuna. Nothing can be seen here that is left for you to conquer. This is the land of the northern Kurus, and there cannot be any wars here. O Kantya, even if you enter, you will not be able to see anything. Nothing that is here can be seen with human eyes. O tiger among men, O descendant of the Bharata lineage, however, if there is anything else that you wish, please tell me. You will do your bidding. Having been thus addressed, Arjuna, son of the Chestisar of Paka, said, I wish that the intelligent Dharmaraja should become an emperor. I shall not enter this land if it is restricted to humans, but let something be given by you as tribute to Yudhishthira. Then they gave him divine garments, divine ornaments, and divine hides and skin as tribute. Thus did that tiger among men conquer the northern regions. He fought many great battles with Kshatriyas and also with bandits. Having conquered those kings, he extracted tribute from them and obtained a lot of riches and many jewels, together with horses, and had the color of patrigates, were speckled, or had the color of parrot feathers or those of peacocks. They were all as swift as the wind. O king, surrounded by gigantic fourfold army, the brave one returned again to the supreme city of Shakraprastha, means Indraprastha, having said, at the same time, the valorous Bhimsena took his leave from Dharmaraja and left for the eastern direction. That tiger among Bharata lineage had with him a great circle of forces capable of offspring the enemy's kingdom. He marched out to increase the enemy's sorrow. Pandava, tiger among kings, first went to the city of Panchala and used various means of conciliation to win the Panchalas over. Then the valorous one, bulls among men, defeated the Gandakis and the Videhas, and after some time went on to Dasharna. Their king Sudharma of Darshana performed a feat that makes one's hair stand up. He had a great duel with Bhima without any weapons. On witnessing this deed, Bhimsena, the scourger of enemies, made the immensely strong Sudharma the supreme general. O king, Bhima, terrible in valor, then marched towards the east, and that large army seemed to make the earth tremble. O king, the warrior strongest among the strong defeated in battle Rochamana, the lord of Ashwamedha, and his younger brother without exerting terrible force in vanquishing him. The immensely valorous Kaunteya, descended of the Kuru lineage, then conquered the eastern region. He then went south to the great city of the Pulindas and conquered Sukumara and Sumitra, the lord of men, O Janmejaya. Then, on Dharmaraja's command, the bull among the Bharata lineage advanced on the immensely brave Shishupala. Having heard of Pandava's intention, the king of Chedi, the scourger of enemies, come out of his city and welcomed him, O great king. When the bulls among the Kuru and Chedi lineages met, they asked about the welfare of each other's lineages. O Lord of the people, the king of Chedi then smilingly offered his kingdom and told Bhima, O unblemished one, what do you wish to do? Bhima then told him about Dharmaraja's wish, and that Lord of Men acted accordingly. O king, Bhima spent 30 nights there as Shishupala's guest. After that, he left with his army and his mounts. Vishnupada said, then the destroyer of enemies vanquished Kumara, Shenimana, and Brihadwala, the lord of Koshala in Ayodhya, the best of the Pandavas, defeated. Without having to perform very terrible deeds, the righteous and extremely strong Dighaprajana, the lord, then subjugated the land of Gopalakacha, the northern Sotamas, and the king, who was the lord of the Melas along the slopes of the Himalayas, the powerful one, then ran into Jaradgava and in a short while brought the entire country under his power. The bull among men defeated many countries in this fashion and conquered Unata and the mountains of Kukshimata. Pandava, great in valor and supreme among those who are strong, defeated in battle Subandhu, the king of Kashi. O one who never retreated from battle, the mighty armed Bhima, terrible in deeds and bull among the Pandavas, used his power to conquer Ratha, lord of the kings in the region of Shuparshva in battle. Then he conquered the immensely energetic Matsyas, the immensely strong Malayas, the invincible Gayas, and all the lands of animals everywhere. The mighty armed one repulsed Madhavika and Mahidara, and having marched towards the north, conquered the foothills. The strong Kaunteya used his strength to defeat the land of the Vatsas, the lord of the Bhargas, the lord of the Nishadas, and many other owners of the land, led by Manimana. Pandava Bhima then conquered the southern Malas and Bhogavanta without having to expend terrible effort. The Lord, tiger among men, used conciliation without the need for terrible deeds to win over the Sharmakas and the Varmakasa and King Janaka of Videha. The Lord of the Earth, spending time in Videha, Kaunteya Pandava defeated the seven lords of the Kiratas in the region around Mount Indra. After that, the valorous Kaunteya defeated the Shumas and the eastern Shumas in battle and marched on towards Megadha, defeating Danda and Dandadhara and many kings. He attacked Giribraja with all of them on his side. O king, having subjugated Janardana's son and extracted tribute from him, the powerful one marched with all of them against Karna. The earth trembled with his fourfold army. The best of the Pandavas fought with Karna, Bhima versus Karna, the destroyer of enemies or descendant of the Bharata lineage. He vanquished Karna in battle and brought him under his sway. He then defeated the powerful kings who lived in the mountains. Later, in a great battle using only the strength of his arms, Pandava defeated the immensely strong Modagiri. O king, he then defeated the immensely strong and brave Vasudeva, the king of Pondra, and the immensely energetic king who dwelled in the marshes along the Kaushiki. Vasudeva means Krishna's duplicate king. Okay, this is not Krishna, but these warriors were terrible in valor and were surrounded by large armies. O great king, he then attacked the king of Banga. He vanquished Sumudrasena, Samudrasena and King Chandrasena, the lord of Tamra Lipta and Kacha, the ruler of Banga. The bull among the Bharata lineage conquered the ruler of the Sumas. All those who lived along the ocean and all the Smlechas, having thus conquered many countries and extracting riches from them. Pavana's powerful son then reaches the Lohitya. He extracted tributes and riches of all kinds from all the kings of the Mlechas who lived in island in the ocean. Sandalwood, yellow garment, the best of gems and pearls, gold, silver, diamonds, and priceless corals. They showed the Pandava, whose spirit was boundless, the great riches that amounted to hundreds of millions. Returning to Indraprastha, Bhima, terrible in valor, tendered all those riches to Dharmaraja. Bismpina said, in similar fashion, after worshipping Dharmaraja, Sahadeva left for the south with a large army. The Lord first conquered the entire land of the Shurasenas, the descendant of the Kuru lineage, supreme among powerful ones, then subjugated the king of Matsya. In a great battle, he defeated Dantabakra, emperor of kings, having forced him to pay tribute. He restored the throne to him. He then vanquished Sukumara and King Somitra and conquered the other Matsyas and the Patacharasas. The illustrious one swiftly conquered the country of the Nishadas and Goshringa, supreme among mountains. Then he defeated King Shrinimana. After conquering the new country, he marched against Kuntibhoja and he happily accepted the suzerainty. On the banks of the Charmanvati, he encountered King Jambaka's son, who had earlier been defeated by Vasudeva because of an earlier enmity or descendant of the Bharata lineage. He instantly engaged in a battle with Bhoja and having defeated him marched towards the south. Having extracted tribute and many riches from them, he took all these and advanced towards the Narmada. The powerful and glorious son of the Ashwins defeated in battle Vinda and Anubinda from Avanti, who were surrounded by large armies. Having extracted riches from them, he advanced towards the city of Mahishmati. The powerful Pandava Sadeva, bull among men, engaged in battle King Niladeva. The great battle struck terror in the hearts of the fearful. It destroyed armies and threatened life, the illustrious god of fire provided succor to his enemy. Horses, chariots, elephants, soldiers, and armors from Sadeva's army were seen to be blazing. The mind of the descendant of the Kuru lineage was bewildered. O Janmejaya, he was incapable of giving a fitting reply. Janmejaya asked, why did the illustrious Agni become Sadeva's adversary in war? O Brahmana, he was seeking to accomplish a sacrifice. Vasampana replied, it is said that the illustrious god of fire lived in Mahishmati and was once caught in an act of adultery. In earlier times, after he had sported himself as he willed in the disguise of a Brahmana, he was brought before King Nila. The virtuous king ordered him to be punished in accordance with the sacred text, and the illustrious fire god blazed up in anger. On seeing this, the king was surprised and bowed his head before the wise one. At this, the illustrious fire god bestowed his favors on the king. The one who achieves the end of all sacrifices offered a boon to the king, and the lord of the earth asked for the boon that his forces might always be free from fear. O king, ever since then, whenever ignorant kings have tried to conquer that city, they have been consumed instantly by the fire. O extended of the Kuru lineage, from that day, the woman from the city of Mahishmati became unacceptable. Because of Agni's boon, the woman could no longer be restricted. They are their own ministers and act as they will. O supreme among men, O great king, from that day, out of fear of Agni, all kings have avoided that kingdom. O king, the virtuous Sadeva saw that his soldiers were engulfed in fear and surrounded by the fire. They trembled like a mountain. He touched water and made himself pure and then spoke to Pavaka. O Pavaka, O one with the black trails, I worship you, and it is for your sake that I have undertaken this task. You are the mouth of the gods, you are the sacrifice, you purify, and you are the purifier. You are the bearer of sacrificial offerings. It is from you that the Vedas have come into being, and thus it is that you are known as Jataveda. O bearer of sacrificial offerings, please do not cause an obstruction to this sacrifice. Having uttered these words, Madri's son spread kusha grass on the ground. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, in accordance with the prescribed rituals, that tiger among men sat down before the advancing fire before all his pretended and noxious troops, like the great ocean which does not cross the shoreline. The fire did not cross him. The fire approached Sadeva, god among men, and descendant of the Kuru lineage, and spoke to him in affectionate words. O descendant of the Kuru lineage, arise. I acted thus only to test you. I know all your intentions and those of Dharma's son, O supreme among the Bharata lineage. However, I am bound to protect this city as long as there are heirs to carry forward King Nila's lineage, O Pandava. However, I will accomplish what you desire in your heart. Then Madri's son arose with a happy heart, bowing his head and joined his hands in salutation. The bull among men worshipped Pavaka. When Pavaka retreated, King Nila arrived and welcomed Sadeva, tiger among men, and lord of all warriors. He accepted the homage and made him a tributary. Then Madri's victorious son advanced in a southern direction. He vanquished the immensely energetic Tripuras, the mighty armed, and conquered Mighty Armed One conquered the Lord of Potana with a great deal of effort. The Mighty Armed One then subjugated Ariti, king of Shivastra, whose preceptor was Kaushika, while in the region of Shivastra, the intelligent one sent an ambassador to King Rukmin Bhishmaka of Bhojakata, who had great standing, was devoted to Dharma, and was a friend of Indra himself, O king, for the sake of Vasudeva, the mighty armed king, and his son happily accepted the suzerainty. Taking a lot of riches, the lord of war went from there Shurparaka and the region named Upakrita, ruled by a clan. The immensely energetic and immensely strong one conquered them, and the region of Dandaka, the immensely wise one, conquered and brought under his sway the kings who are born from Mlecha wombs and live in islands in the ocean. The man eating Nishadas, the Karnapravarnasas, those known as Kalamukas, and who are a cross between man and Rakshasas. All of the Kola mountains, Murachipattana, the island known as Tamra, Mount Ramaka, and King Timingila, he used messengers to subjugate and obtain tribute from the forest dwelling man who had only one leg, and the cities of Sanjaymanti, Pichanda, and Karataka. Likewise, he used messengers to subjugate and obtain tribute from the Pandya, the Dwaravidas and Chodras, the Keralas, the Andhras, the Talvanas, the Kalingas, and Uttarakarnikas, the Antikas, the Romas, and the city of the Greeks. O Lord of the Kings, Madri's intelligent son then went to Varukacha. He sent a wish to the great soul Polatsya Bibhishana. Bibhishana, Rama and Bibhishan, Ravana's brother, the conqueror of enemies and one with dharma in his heart, used conciliation, and knowing this to be determined by destiny, the intelligent Lord happily accepted the suzerainty and sent many kinds of riches, firstly sandalwood and aloe, and then divine ornaments, expensive garments, and priceless jewels. Then the powerful and intelligent Sahadeva returned. He thus subjugated with conciliation and conquest. After making the kings pay tribute, the conqueror of enemy returns. O king, O Janmejaya, O bull among the Bharata lineage, he handed all of this over to Dharmaraja, and having accomplished his task, lived happily there. Vishwampana said, I will now describe the deeds and conquest of Nakula, and how that lord vanquished the region that had once been conquered by Vasudeva. Taking a large army with him, the intelligent one left Khandaprastha and headed towards the west. The earth trembled with the lion-like roars of his warriors and sounds made by the edges of his chariot wheels. He first marches on the prosperous and beautiful Rohitaka, beloved of Kartikeya. It was rich in cattle, horses, wealth, and grain. There was a great battle there with the Matamya Yuka warriors. The immensely radiant one then conquered the desert region, the land known as Sharishaka that was rich in grain, Mlecha and Civis, the Trigatas, the Ambashtas, the Malavas, the five groups of Karpatas, and the Brahmanas known as Madhyamikaya and Vatadhana. Having circled again, the bull among men defeated the clans known as Utsava Samaketa, who dwelled in the forest of Pushkara. The immensely powerful Gramayas, who lived on the banks of the Sindhu, the clans of Shudras and Abhiras, who lived along the Saraswati, or all those who lived on fish, and all those who live in the mountain, the land of the five rivers, the western Paryatas, the northern Jyotika, the city named Bindataka, and Dwarapala, the immensely radiant one, defeated them all, and the Harunas and all the kings who dwelled to the west. Having brought all this under his rule, the Pandava Nakula sent messengers to Vasudeva, and he and his 10 kingdoms accepted his rule. Then he marched to Shakala, the city of the Madras, using conciliation. The powerful one made an ally of his maternal uncle Shalya. O Lord of the earth, the king honored him as was due to a deserving guest. The Lord of warriors took a large quantity of riches and departed. He then defeated the extremely fearful snatchers who lived along the sides of the ocean. The Pallavas and the Barbaras, having conquered all these kings and extracted tribute, Nakula, supreme among men, returned. O great king, such were the riches collected by the great sword one that 1,000 camels carried it with difficulty. In Indraprastha, Madri's brave and fortunate son went to Yudhishthira and offered the riches to him. Thus did Nakula, bull among the Bharata lineage, conquer the western region protected by Varuna and conquer earlier by Vasudeva. Next section, Rajshu Yagya, Rashtriya Parva, section 24. Besampayana said, protected by Dharmaraja, supported by truth, with all the enemies subjugated, the subjects were always engaged in their respective tasks because revenue was collected in the right way and rule was in accordance with the principles of Dharma. The clouds poured forth and desired rain, and the country was swollen in prosperity because of the king's deeds. Everything prospered, especially the breeding of cattle, agriculture, and trade. O king, dacoits and thieves, and even the king's servants were not here to speak lies on each other. Yudhishthira was always devoted to Dharma, and during his reign there never were droughts, too much of rain, disease, fires, or loss in consciousness. Other kings only come to him for pleasant tasks to show respect and offer tribute out of their own volition, and not for any other reason. The accumulation of riches acquired through dharma becomes so large that it would have been impossible to spend it in hundreds of years. Having ascertained the size of his granary and treasury, King Konteya, Lord of the earth, mentally decided to perform the sacrifice. Separately and collectively, his well wishers told him, O Lord, it is time for the sacrifice. Do what is necessary to perform it. While they were speaking in this way, Hari arrived, the ancient Rishi, the soul of the Vedas, visible only to those who know him, supreme among all established things, the origin and dissolution of the universe, the preserver of what was, is, and will be, Keshava, the destroyer of Keshi, the protecting wall of all the Vrishnis, and the one who provides sanctuary in times of distress, having placed Anna Kadunduvi in charge of his forces and taking a great deal of riches for Dharmaraja. Madhava Tiger man arrived with a large army. He entered the supreme city to the sound of chariot, his wealth adding to the inexhaustible ocean of riches that were already there. With Krishna's arrival, the city of the Bhojas rejoiced like a place without a sun when the sun arrives, or a place without the wind when the wind arrives. Yudhishthira delightedly met him and offered him homage in accordance with the prescribed rites. When they had asked about each other's welfare and he was happily seated, that bull among men told Krishna in the presence of Dhaumya and Dapayana, means Vedvyas, at the forefront of the officiating priests, Bhima, Arjuna, and the Nakul Sadev, O Krishna, it is because of you that the entire earth is under my rule. O Varshnaya, it is through your favors that I have obtained great riches. O Madhava, O son of Devaki, as is prescribed, I now wish to devote all this to the welfare of Brahmanas and the sacrificial fire. O mighty armed Dasharatha, Dashara, with my younger brothers as companions, please grant me permission for you to be instated in the sacrifice, O mighty armed one, O Govinda, O Dashara. When you have been instated in the sacrifice, I will become free for sin. O Lord, O Krishna, otherwise grant me and my younger brothers permission to undertake this sacrifice, for with your permission I will be able to perform that supreme sacrifice. After greatly praising his many qualities, Krishna replied, O Tiger among kings, you are a universal emperor and can perform the great sacrifice. When you have performed the sacrifice and obtained its fruits, we will accomplish what you desire. Perform the sacrifice you wish. I am always established in your welfare. Appoint me in whatever office you want. I will act in accordance with all your words. Yudhishthira said, O Krishna, O Harikesha, when you are willingly present here, it is certain that my resolution will be achieved and my success is assured. Having thus obtained Krishna's permission, Pandava and his brothers began to prepare the means for the Rashtriyagya. Pandava, destroyer of his enemies, instructed Sadeva, supreme among warriors, and all his advisors. The Brahmanas prescribed articles for this sacrificial ceremony. Let those be collected along with all the utensils and auspicious objects. Let the ingredients Dhaumya mentioned be swiftly brought in due order as is required. Let the men bring them. In their desire to do that which pleases me, let Indrasena, Bishoka, and Arjuna's charioteer Puru be employed to acquire the required food. O supreme among the Kuru lineage, let every object of desire be brought, fragrant and succulent, so that the minds of Brahmanas are delighted and pleased. As soon as these words were uttered by the great soul Dharmaraja, Sadeva, supreme among warriors, announced that it had all been done. O king, Dapayana, means Vedvyas, then appointed the officiating priest. They were immensely illustrious Brahmanas who seemed to be personifications of the Vedas themselves. Satyavati's son, Vedvyas, himself acted as the Brahmana. Susama, bull among the Dhananjayas, became the chanter of Sama. Yajnabalka, supreme among those who are established in the Brahman, became the chief Advaryu. Vashu's son, Pella, aided by Dhaumya, became the Hoter. Obul among the Bharata lineage, the groups of sons and disciples of these all learned in the Vedas and the Vedangas become assistants to the Hoters, having invoked the auspicious day and arranging everything according to the rites they organized the great sacrifice for the gods in accordance with what is laid down in the sacred text, given specific instructions. Artisans built large shelters that were filled with jewels and were like the mansions of the gods. Then the king, supreme among kings and supreme among the Kuru lineage, instructed his advisor Sadeva quickly sent swift messengers with invitations. Hearing the king's word, he immediately sent messengers invite to the kingdom all the Brahmanas and all the owners of land, all the Vaishyas and all the respected Shudras, bring them all here. On the Pandavas' instruction, invitations were sent to all the lords of the earth, and more messengers were sent with invitation, O descendant of the Bharata lineage. When the time was right, the Brahmanas instated Kunti's son Yudhishthira in the Rashtriya. O Indra among men, when Dharmaraja Yudhishthira, always devoted to Dharma, was instated, he went to the sacrificial ground surrounded by thousands of Brahmanas, his brothers, his relatives, his well-wishers, his advisors, and Kshatriyas who had arrived from many countries. Not only India, but many countries, accompanied by his ministers. The best of kings was like Dharma personified. Brahmanas arrived from different directions. They were learned in all the branches of knowledge, the Vedas and the Vedangas. On Dharmaraja's instructions, thousands of artisans constructed separated dwelling places for them and their companions. These had all the qualities and were stocked with food and garments. O king, shown due favors, the Brahmanas lived there, recounting many tales and watching the actors and dancers. A great and unending sound was heard as those great soul Brahmanas cheerfully ate and spoke, give, eat. Such were the sound that were always heard. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, Dharmaraja separately gave hundreds and thousands of cattle, beds, gold, and women. Thus did the sacrifice of the great soul Pandava begin, the unmatched warrior on earth, as Chakra in the world of the gods. O bull among the Bharata lineage, then King Yudhishthira sent Pandava Nakula to Hastinapura to bring Bhishma, Drona, Dhritarashtra, Vidura, Kripa, and all the brothers who were attached to Yudhishthira. Next chapter 31. Bhishampana said, the victorious Nakula went to Hastinapura, and the Pandava invited Bhishma and Dhritarashtra. Having heard of Dharmaraja's sacrifice and learned about sacrifices, they happily set out with the Brahmanas at the forefront. O bull among men, others also came in hundreds, content in their hearts and desiring to see Pandava Dharmaraja's Sabha. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, all the kings arrived from all the directions. They brought with them many expensive jewels. O descendant of the Bharata lineage, all of them were welcomed with honor. Dhritarashtra, Bhishma, the greatly intelligent Vidura, all the brothers, with Duryodhana at the forefront, all the kings with the preceptor at the forefront, Subala, the king of Gandhara, the immensely strong Shakuni, Achala, Vishaka, and the supreme warrior Karna, Rita, Shalya, and the king of Madras, the Maratha, Balika, Somdatta of the Kuru lineage, Bhuri, Bhurishabha, Shala, Ashwathama, Kripa, Drona, Jadratha, the king of Sindhu, Yagesena, and his son Salva, the lord of the earth, the greatly famous Bhagdatta, king of Parjotisa, all the Smlechas who lived along the shores of the ocean, the king from the mountains, King Bhiyadvala Vasudeva from Pondra, the king of Vanga, the king of Kalinga, Akarsha, Kuntala, the Vashavaya, the Andhrakas, Dravidas, Simalas, the king of Kashmir, the immensely energetic Kunti Bhaja, the immensely strong Shuma, all the other kings and warriors from Balika, Virata, and his sons, The Maratha militia, king of sons of king, the lord of many countries, the immensely valorous Shishupala, invincible in battle, and his son Rama, Aniruddha, Sharana, Gada, Pradyumna, Samba, valorous Charudeshna, Unmukha, Babru, Nishatha, Pradyumna's valorous son, and all the other Vrishnis, they are all Krishna's son, who were Maharathas. They all went to the Pandava sacrifice. Many other kings from the middle region also went to the great Rashtriya sacrifice of Pandu's son, O king. On the Dhananjaya's instruction, dwelling houses were provided to all of them. They had many rooms and were adorned with lakes and trees. Their Dharma's son showed them the best of honors. Having been shown due homage, all the kings went to their assigned dwelling houses as tall as the peak of Kailasha, beautiful, stocked with every kind of object and surrounded by strongly built and white walls. On every side there were nets of gold, and the floors were paved with precious stones. The stairs were gentle to climb, and there were expensive seats and carpets. They were decorated with wreaths and garlands and perfumed with the best of aloe. They were white like a swan's feathers and could be seen from the distance of a yojana. The doors were wide, permitting easy entry, and were characterized by every quality. They were constructed out of many metals and looked like the peaks of the Himalayas. After resting there for some time, those lords saw Dharmaraja Yudhishthira surrounded by many Sadhakyas and donating immeasurable gifts, O king, crowded by Shadya's king and the great soul Brahmanas. The place looked as beautiful as the vault of sky, crowded with immortals. Visumpana said, having shown homage to his grandfather and preceptor, and having welcomed them, Yudhishthira spoke these words to Bhishma, Drona, Kripa, and Dronashana, Ashwathama, and Bibhinshati. All of you must show me every favors at this sacrifice. All my great riches here are yours. Be kind towards me without any constraints, and as you desire. The eldest of the Pandavas had already been instated in the sacrifice. Having thus spoken, the immensely appointed each with a suitable office in the sacrifice. Dushasana was put in charge of food and other objects of pleasure. Ashwathama was appointed to the task of tending to the Brahmanas. Sanjaya was appointed to the task of welcoming the kings. The immensely vast Bhishma and Drona were in charge of what should be done and what should not be done. The king gave Kripa the task of looking after the gold coins and jewels, and also the distribution of Dakshina. Similarly, he appointed other tigers among men to other tasks. Having been brought there by Nakula, the guest, Bailika, Dhritarashtra, Somdatta, and Jayadratha enjoyed themselves as if they were the masters. Shata, Vidura, knowledgeable in every aspect of Dharma, was in charge of the treasury. Duryodhana received all the tribute that was brought. All the worlds assembled there, wishing to see Dharmaraja Pandava Sabha and participate in the supreme fruits. No one come there with a tribute that was less than 1,000. Every made Dharmaraja prosper with many jewels. The kings revealed each other and donated riches, proudly said, let the Kaurava attend the sacrifice with my riches alone. O king, the sacrificial grounds of the great soul Kaunteya were resplendent with dwelling houses with which had charioteers in front, guards, soldiers, chariots of the lords of the earth, Brahmana dwelling houses, mansions constructed like divine chariots and decorated with many colorful jewels. The assembled kings, wealth and prosperity. Yudhishthira seemed to revel the god Varuna in riches. The sacrifice had 6 fires and large amounts of dakshina. Everyone was satisfied with every object of desire, abundance of grain and plenty of food. It was covered by well-fed people. A large amount of gifts of jewels were brought to the assembly. Those skilled in the knowledge of mantras offered libations, clarified butter, and obtained oblations at the sacrifice and granted the gods and the Maharishis. Like the gods, the Brahmanas were also gratified with gifts, food, and great wealth. All the Varnas were delighted at the sacrifice. Next, section 25.